Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to kick off our presentation today. We'll be exploring Mega Goal 1.1, focusing on Unit 2, which is all about careers and grammar. In this session, we'll cover key concepts related to career paths and important grammar points to help you communicate more effectively. So, let's get started and make this a productive and engaging session. Now, let's take a look at the lesson objectives for today. First, we'll focus on understanding the rules to do the exercises correctly. Then, we'll move on to applying what we've learned by constructing sentences using adjective plus preposition plus gerund. Next, we'll learn how to form questions using phrases like how long, how many, and how much. After that, we'll discuss how to ask questions between the present perfect simple and the present perfect progressive, so you can distinguish their uses. We'll also review how to correctly identify and use the present perfect simple. And finally, we'll deepen our understanding of how to use the present perfect progressive. These objectives are designed to guide you step by step through mastering these key grammar points and enhance your overall language skills. So let's talk about how long someone has been working. This is where the present perfect progressive tense really shines. It helps us describe actions that started in the past and are still happening now, or may have just recently finished. For example, if I say, he has been working for 8 hours, it means he started working 8 hours ago and he's still working now. Another way to express this is by focusing on the start time. If I say, he has been working since 7:00 a.m., it points to the exact moment he began. The structure for these sentences is quite simple. We use have or has, followed by been, and then the verb with an ing ending. Remember, for she, he, and it, we use has plus been plus being. For I, you, we, and they, we use have plus been plus being. The main reasons we use the present perfect progressive are to talk about an action that started in the past and still relates to the present, whether it has finished or not. We also use it to emphasize the results of that action or simply to say how long something has been happening. This tense keeps the focus on the duration and ongoing nature of activities, which is really useful when we're discussing work, habits, or ongoing projects. Let's take a closer look at uncountable nouns versus countable nouns. Uncountable nouns refer to things that we can't count individually, like money or water. Countable nouns, on the other hand, are things we can count, such as programs or games. For example, if I ask, how much money have you spent? I'm referring to an uncountable noun, so I use much. But if I ask, how many programs have you watched? I'm talking about countable items, so I use many. Now, when we talk about specific numbers of actions or items, we use the present perfect simple tense. For example, he has played 5 games. Notice that played is the past participle form of play. Similarly, I have written 3 pages, with written being the past participle of write. This structure, have or has plus past participle, allows us to express completed actions that are relevant now. It's important to remember who we're talking about. For she, we say she has, and for he or it, we also say has. For I, we, and they, we use have. This tense is very useful because it helps us describe how many things have been done or talk about recent actions that are complete. It's a key part of expressing quantities and recent experiences in English. Today, I want to share some of my interests and skills. First, I'm interested in making cake. I really enjoy baking and experimenting with different recipes. It's a fun way to express creativity and also a way to bring people together. Next, I'm good at taking pictures. Photography is something I've developed a passion for over the years. I love capturing moments and seeing the world through a different perspective. I'm also interested in reading short stories. I find them fascinating because they can tell a complete story in just a few pages, which makes them perfect for quick enjoyment or inspiration. Finally, I'm good at using computers. Whether it's for work, learning, or leisure, I feel confident navigating various programs and tools on a computer. Overall, these interests and skills reflect my curiosity and my strengths, and they all tie into the theme of exploring what I enjoy and what I'm good at. All right, let's take a closer look at the summary of these two important tenses. On this slide, we see a table comparing the present perfect progressive with the present perfect simple. For the present perfect progressive, we form it with have or has, followed by been, and then the verb with an ing ending. This tense is used to emphasize the duration or ongoing nature of an action. For example, I have been playing for 1 hour. It highlights that the activity has been happening continuously up to now. In contrast, the present perfect simple is formed with have or has plus the past participle or PP3. An example here is, I have played 3 times. This tense often focuses on the number of times an action has happened or its completion, rather than its duration. Now, when we ask questions, we use how long to inquire about the duration, like how long have you been working? Or how many or how much to ask about quantity or amount, such as how many times have you visited? The key takeaway here is understanding when to use each tense. The present perfect progressive when you're emphasizing the length or ongoing nature of an activity, and the present perfect simple when you're talking about completed actions or quantities. Connecting this to our overall theme, mastering these differences helps us communicate more precisely about past actions and their relevance to now. Let's take a look at the student's book, page 22. This page is really important because it ties together many of the concepts we've discussed so far. You'll notice that it provides practical examples that help us understand how these ideas work in real-life situations. Pay close attention to the diagrams and exercises. These are designed to reinforce your understanding and encourage you to apply what you've learned. As we go through this page, think about how the concepts connect to the overall theme of the presentation, which is about effective learning strategies and applying them in different contexts. Remember, engaging actively with this material will help solidify your understanding and improve your ability to use these concepts practically. So, let's go through it carefully and see how it all fits together. Let's take a look at some sample answers from students about their experiences with their books. As you can see, answers will vary depending on each person's situation. For example, one student might say, I've been studying English for 6 years, which shows a long-term commitment. Another might mention, I've had 3 teachers, highlighting their different learning experiences. Some students might say, I've used 6 books, indicating they've explored multiple resources, while others might share, I've been using this book for 3 weeks, emphasizing recent progress. These examples help us understand how students' experiences differ but also connect to the overall idea of language learning and personal progress. The key takeaway here is that everyone's journey is unique, and sharing these experiences can motivate others and show the variety of ways we can learn and improve. Let's take a closer look at some examples of students and their career interests. First, we have Faze. He's been working in a restaurant for 6 months now. He's really skilled at baking, and he's interested in becoming a chef someday. It's great to see someone developing their skills and aiming for a professional goal. Next, there's Rafa. She's been working in a nursing home for 2 years. She's excellent at helping elderly ladies, and she aspires to become a nurse herself. Her experience shows her dedication and compassion, which are so important in healthcare. Finally, we have Yahya. He's been working for a newspaper for some time now. He's good at interviewing people, which is a key skill for a reporter. He's interested in pursuing a career in journalism. All of these examples illustrate how practical experience helps students identify their strengths and interests, guiding them toward their future careers. This is a vital part of career development and planning. As we look at this slide, you'll notice that the answers will vary quite a bit depending on the individual. For example, Ahmed has been involved for just 1 year, which shows he's relatively new. On the other hand, Abdullah has been part of this for 2 years, indicating more experience. Saad, with only 3 months, is quite new to the scene, while Ali has been here for 10 years, bringing a wealth of knowledge and stability. Then we see Al-Walid, who has been involved for 6 months, still early in his journey but making progress. Khald, with 3 years under his belt, strikes a balance between fresh perspectives and experience. What's important here is to recognize that everyone's timeline is different, and that diversity in experience can actually strengthen our overall team. This variation highlights the ongoing process of growth and learning, which is a key part of our broader theme about development and adaptability. So, whether someone is just starting out or has been here for many years, each contribution is valuable in shaping our collective success. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. Now, let's look at some examples of ongoing actions using the present perfect continuous tense. In the first exchange, B mentions, "They've been drinking coffee." This indicates that the people in the cafe have been engaged in the activity of drinking coffee for some time up to now. It's a way to show that an action started in the past and is still happening or has recently stopped. Next, I ask, what have the people in the cafe been doing? Notice how this question invites us to think about the ongoing activities in that setting. B responds, "He's been looking at the limousine." This suggests that the man has been observing or focusing on the limousine over a period. Then I inquire, what has the taxi driver been doing? And B answers, "He's been waiting for the rain to stop." This highlights the taxi driver's ongoing patience and the reason behind his waiting. Finally, I ask, what has the man under the umbrella been doing? This question points us toward another ongoing action, possibly related to weather or his activity of seeking shelter. Overall, these examples demonstrate how the present perfect continuous tense helps us describe actions that have been happening recently or are still in progress, connecting back to our theme of describing ongoing activities in different contexts. All right, now let's look at the homework for this lesson. On the workbook, page 231, you'll find exercise D. This is a great way to reinforce what we've covered today. Remember, the key points here are to apply what you've learned and to practice actively. Doing these exercises helps solidify your understanding and prepares you for real-world use. I encourage you to take your time, think about each question, and connect the concepts we've discussed to your own experiences. This connection is essential because it makes the learning more meaningful and memorable. So, I recommend working through this exercise thoroughly, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to review the relevant sections again. Keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing how you apply these concepts.